Hurricane Henri is barreling toward New York and New England. We'll tell you how communities are preparing for it. Plus, CNN learns of one reason we may be seeing chaos like this at Kabul's airport. Those more fortunate are arriving at Ramstein U.S. Air Base in Germany. We're live there and in Doha with the latest. And the United States records a surge in vaccines, even as a prominent American civil rights figure is counted among the latest cases. Live from CNN World Headquarters in Atlanta, welcome to all of you watching us here in the United States, Canada, and all around the world. I'm Kim Brunhuber. This is CNN Newsroom. Hurricane Henri is closing in on the northeastern U.S. right now, with landfall expected in the coming hours on either Long Island or southern New England. More than 50 million people are under hurricane or tropical storm warnings, and states of emergency have been declared in New York, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Heavy rain has already pounded parts of the region. This is what it looked like in Hoboken, New Jersey, Saturday night. In addition to the rain, storm surge, coastal flooding, and strong winds are expected in parts of the Northeast. All right, let's bring in meteorologist Tyler Mullen. You've been tracking this. What's the latest, Tyler?
We can now see the eye, or the center of Henri, on radar imagery. It's about 150 miles to the south of Rhode Island, and this band of rain that you see up here to the north is about to swing into Southampton. So Southampton, that rain that you're going to be dealing with here in about 45 minutes to an hour, that's directly related to Henri. It eventually will push into New York City, which is now dry. Finally, that rain has tapered off, but it's pushed down to the south and west. It's now over New Jersey, where northern New Jersey has been really picking up a lot of rainfall. Surf City, we've got to be seeing some flooding here at this point because it's been raining there for hours. Philadelphia, it's starting to really pick up in intensity too. Brooklyn has picked up more than 6 inches of rain. Central Park picked up nearly 4.5 inches of rain. And that 4.45 inches of rain in the last 24 hours is a daily record. It shattered a record, a long-standing record from the 19th century. And we're going to add to these totals as this storm pushes up to the north. It is a 75-mile-per-hour hurricane right now, moving to the north at 21 miles per hour. That's really fast. Hurricanes don't like to be moving that fast. So that's probably going to help it not strengthen that much more. In addition, the waters right off of New York and New England are below 75 degrees. And hurricanes like water that is like bathtub hot, all right? 78 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter. So that is also going to help it lose its punch as it starts to approach. It will still be either a strong category, a strong tropical storm, or a low-end category 1 hurricane when it makes landfall somewhere around Montauk to probably more than likely now Rhode Island or Connecticut. So we do have a hurricane warning still in effect for Long Island, Connecticut, also Rhode Island. Then the surrounding areas in blue here, New York City, Providence, Nantucket, you're in a tropical storm warning. Conditions and hazards are going to be felt way far out from the center of the system, and those cones of concern that we show you where the track's going to go, it's only telling you where the center of the storm is going to go. So the impact's going to be felt way away from the center. For example, storm surge warnings are up for pretty much all of southern New England and also the coast of New York, because as this wind comes on shore, it's going to coincide later on today with high tide, and that's going to allow the storm surge to get up to possibly about 5 feet. We also have to watch for the potential for flash flooding in this area, because after it makes landfall, it slows down and it hangs out in this region of New England for 24 to maybe 36 hours, and that's going to lead to the area picking up about 6 inches of rain, and some isolated spots could pick up to 10 inches of rain. Kim, and that's on top of what we've already picked up. That's not good.
Yeah, not good to say the least. Listen, we'll bring you back later in the show, and of course we'll keep tracking this story throughout the evening. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And a short time ago, CNN spoke with Lieutenant Commander Robert Mitchell. He's part of a hurricane hunter team that flew directly into Hurricane Henri on Saturday night, gathering data that helps forecasters know what to expect from the storm. And he described what it's like to fly into the eye of the storm. Here he is.
This storm has been uniquely bumpy. Our flight yesterday was heavily influenced by some of the dry air that was coming in from the west, and so we had some of the strongest clear air turbulence that we've had in storms for quite a few years. All that dry air intruding into the hurricane has really caused a really tough ride for us to try to find the center and measure each of the quadrants of the storm to try to get a good picture of what the storm is trying to tell us. This storm on this track with the dry air coming in from the west, the last time that I flew on something like this was actually Superstorm Sandy. That was a much stronger storm and had much more organization prior to being impacted by some of the weather systems coming off the U.S. But this track in this kind of left-hand turn that it's going to make in the next day here is somewhat rare.
That was Lieutenant Commander Robert Mitchell. In the meanwhile, Hurricane Henri approaches the northeast. There's also a threat for significant power outages across multiple states. More than 12,000 crews from nearly 30 states are being mobilized to support power restoration. Emergency personnel and disaster response teams are on high alert as well. So I want to bring in Scott Appleby in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He's the director of the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security for the city of Bridgeport. Thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate your time. Connecticut, as we understand, is right in the crosshairs of this storm. You said this could be, quote, a potentially catastrophic event. What are you expecting and how have you been preparing?
Well, certainly the city of Bridgeport is preparing for the worst case. We're preparing for surges, inundation to be about anywhere between 3 to 5 feet above ground level. Flash flooding, those areas that are in low-lying areas, flood zones. We are anticipating high winds. We're expecting, peak winds to be anywhere from 15 to 25 mile an hour sustained winds, but gusts up to 55. So we're preparing for the worst right now. We're obviously hoping for the best. We're asking all residents to take voluntary actions to get out of those areas at this point in time. We do have emergency shelters, or a emergency shelter going to be up and running as of 6 a.m. Today. So again, we're just keeping a close eye on it. And as the meteorologist said, it does look like it's making more of that jog towards the Rhode Island area. But as we know, with any storm, anything could happen. So we're just, keeping a close eye on it and being prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. You spoke of the winds there. Connecticut, I think, is one of the most heavily wooded states in the country. Your office prepared a report looking at what the effect of hurricanes at different strengths would do in terms of the number of trees downed and how long the power might be out. So what are your projections here? How bad could it get?
Well, according to the UI, their United Illuminating is, which is our electrical contractor, vendor here in the city of Bridgeport to our residents. They're preparing for a level 4, which technically is looking at about maybe 3/4 of their customers without power. So you're talking about maybe 55 to 60,000 folks that may be without power. We're in close communication with them. I know they have outside crews that have been staged here in Connecticut. But I mean, if anything is related to Tropical Storm Irene or Superstorm Sandy, I mean, we're talking about at least that 70 to 75,000 people without power, customers without power. We're asking everybody to charge up tablets, charge up their phones, make sure you have your battery operated radio and, flashlights and the like. But in the meantime, if you really do need to evacuate, we have sites set up so that they could come charge up their items and devices. And, you talk about vulnerable population, Kim. I mean, the concern for us is really getting those folks that are on any health aid machines to these locations. So again, they're set and prepared, and hopefully the storm, as we look at it, will hit us pretty quickly and get out of here pretty quickly.
Yeah, let's hope so. Certainly, let's hope you're spared the worst of this. Scott Appleby, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.